Hi everyone, welcome to Confessions of an Evangelist Daughter. I'm coming to you to talk about my dad's book, Ethiopis, number 5. It's in Amharic, and I'm talking today about the end of chapter 2 in English. I translated from Amharic to English with the title ማእከላዊ መንግስት የተዳከመበት የመሳፍንት ዘመን. This is my dad and his 5th Ethiopis book about the Ethiopian Nile and the contention between Ethiopia and Egypt and such. But now the dam is finished and the fountain is beautiful, it's powerful, and I'm gonna link a short conversation even recently with the Prime Minister of Barbados and Trevor Noah, what they talked about, how beautifully the dam and the water is just flowing, like the power of that Nile. Anyways, today I wanted to talk to you in English. The translation of the last chapter, Ethiopia's central government was weakened in the era of judges in Ethiopia. የመሳፍንት ዘመን ይሉታል በአማርኛ. In Amharic, መሳፍንት means judges. From 1522 to 1594, the European calendar. ማእከላዊ መንግስት የተዳከመበት ነው. And so in English translation, the 16th century invasion of the Gragn Muhammad, Ahmad Gragn. That means left wing or left-handed. Gragn Muhammad is left-handed, basically. In that time, I think he came, swifting from the left side, and we didn't even know it was happening. Before we know it, they were just taking over the country, coming from the Arab countries and creating a lot of, but when we're talking about Ahmad Gragn or Muhammad Gragn is different than the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad first, when he came long before that, he sent his messengers to ask for a land for asylum or for a peace land. Nagasi was the king at that time in Ethiopia, to give them a place to stay and they can practice a spiritual life, and he gave them a land. So Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, even wrote in the Quran, and then in their teaching talks about do not touch Abyssinia. Abyssinia is Ethiopia. Do not touch the country, because they gave us a place to stay and a place to live when we were pushed out of our country to practice our religion. But the same thing in the Bible, when the Egyptian King Pharaoh forgot about Joseph, and a king rose up who did not know about Joseph and completely oppressed Israelites, because Joseph was a prime minister of Pharaoh 4 generations before, and saved the country from a big famine for 7 years, and he set up the whole country, saved the 7 years prior, which was a very rich and harvest time, and then saved up, and he made Pharaoh the richest man by even letting him own all lands, so they can just buy food from him, and he owned their lands, and he did such an amazing rescue. But 4 generations down, another Pharaoh rose up and completely made Israelites slaves, because nobody pass on history, and stories are very important. That's why my dad said a child who doesn't know his mother in a market, let's say a child lost his mother in a market or in a big park, or in, let's say, in Disneyland, when there is a lot of chaos, you miss your child. And they collected all the mothers and lined up the mothers to show the little child who his mother is, and he couldn't figure out who his mother was when she's standing in the midst of the women who are standing, lining up. So my dad says, a human being, a person, a woman, a man, grown people who do not know their stories, and the stories are not passed to them, are like that child who do not know his mother in the midst of other women. Excuse me. And so it's very important to know our history, so that way our kids would follow the pattern. And that's what happened. Gragn Muhammad, when he came to Ethiopia to wipe out Christianity and oppress Christianity, burning churches and destroying churches, Ethiopia had to go underground churches. You know, Ethiopia had to build underground churches. When you go to Aksum, when you go to different regions of Ethiopia, you would find beautiful rock churches built underground, so to hide under the trees from the invasion of the Islam at that time, which was led by Gragn Muhammad. So that's the 16th century of the invasion of Gragn Muhammad, and the migration of people from different places, and a special 9 collective groups called Luba Oromia every 8 years campaigned to the expansion of their empire from 1522 1594 European calendar. And this specific group, Luba Oromia, caused instability throughout the country because they were doing it every 8 years, and they just rally, they campaign to just take over. And when they take over, it was brutality, was murdering, unless you say Allahu Akbar and you just take their religion completely right off your Christianity, they'll kill you right there. It was a very, very brutal extermination they were doing. And so that expansion took many years, from 1522 to 1594. That's no joke. It's almost 70 years, pretty much, right? And so imagine when that kind of campaign is happening, it's brainwashing. People with fear would just let go unless they are grounded. People who are grounded in their faith, they will give up their life for the God they believe in, the Christianity, the religion they have. And so much happened. So that's today's story I wanted to read for you in this last chapter of chapter 2, the religion movement. And next will be chapter 3, that's Ethiopia ተብሎ ይታወቅ ኢትዮጵያ ተብሎ ይታወቅ የነበረው ሰፊ ግዛትና የአፍሪካ አህጉር ስያሜ, how the name is given. So that's going to be the next one. We're just going to do little reviews, so that way we know our history, and I give you a little window about Ethiopia and how far we've come, and how much, you know, the time went by, and then how much the religion expanded now in Ethiopia. About 48% is Islam, and was Protestant, Catholic, and Orthodox, and Pentecostal, and such. It's about 52%. So yeah, well, my dad writes beautiful stories. Hashem Kokata and this and more. So I will see you in a different season in a week. If you need the book, we're gonna figure out ways to get you that only for people who read in Amharic. Other than that, I'll give you the story in small bites here. I'm really honored to share this, my father's labor, hard work, and love for his country. And I look forward to see you. Bye. This is Coach Lady K. Abnish. Girma Zewdie.